Welcome to yet another week of Math 060, Math Study Skills. This week we're going to talk about test taking, something I am sure that you are very interested in. All right. Test taking, it turns out, is a skill, and it's a very important skill in most math classes. Most math classes, I would guess, are somewhere around 75% tests in terms of your grade makeup. So they make up a huge chunk of your overall score at the end of the semester. Since test taking is a skill, it is something that you can practice, get better at, and it is something that there are a lot of strategies for. We're going to give you a variety of strategies in the slides that follow. Things you can do before taking a test, things that you can do while taking a test, and things you can think about after you've taken a test. Don't try to do all of these at once. Try to find the things you already do. That's great. And then try to find a couple of things, one or two probably, that would be good things to do, and try them out. All right, see if they work for you or not. But don't try to do too many things. That'll get overwhelming, and there's already enough stuff going on in a test situation that we don't need to be trying 10 other study skills at the same time. So hopefully this is pretty obvious. The first thing you want to do is learn all of the material you can as well as you can before you actually take the test. And we've spent a lot of time on our study skills helping you hopefully do that through note-taking, active listening, how to do your homework well, how to think about word problems, how to study effectively, how to make good use of your memory. Those are all things that are designed to maximize the learning process as much as possible. Here's that list again: note-taking, textbook reading, homework, effective studying, and we've talked about a few topics beyond just those. So before the test, it's always a good idea to begin preparing for a test early. I recommend starting to think about it a week in advance. If your instructor doesn't tell you what's going to be on the test, ask. Answers will vary, but any information your instructor gives you that will help you focus your studying is useful. Make sure you look at your notes. If you've taken good notes and you've made use, I should say, of those instructor cues we talked about, those are usually good things to make sure that you're studying and emphasize in your studying process. Review the homework that you've done. Those are the types of problems that your instructor is obviously interested in you being able to do. Read your textbook, specifically the areas that you actually covered in class. Create a list of definitions, concept, rules, types of problems. This could be a graphic organizer, this could be note cards, this might be some kind of a table, whatever works best for you. Don't be afraid to create practice tests. Not all instructors will provide them for you, and if they don't, you can create your own, especially if you've been creating a problem log along the way. And then when you take a practice test, take it like it's a real test. Give yourself a time limit. Close your books and your notes. Try to pretend like it's the real thing and take it that way so you can get a feel for how test taking feels, number one, and number two, how you perform on the material in front of you in that kind of situation. Finally, always aim for a high score, higher than you want, higher than you need, higher than you even think it's possible for you to get. You may miss it, but if you aim for a high score and miss it by some points, that's better than aiming for a low score and missing it by the same number of points. So always aim high. If there are any group study sessions, don't be afraid to attend them. Just try to make sure your group stays focused. Things that you're struggling with, get help. Instructor, math lab, fellow students, friends, family, whoever. Only review material the night before a test. You shouldn't still be learning. You should be reviewing at that point. Try to get a good night's sleep. The more well rested you are, the better that test is likely to go. And make sure before the test, well before the test, you have all the materials you're going to need. Make sure your calculator has good batteries. You don't want to discover that you're missing something or your calculator is dead just as you walk into the classroom. And don't be afraid to make good use of your short-term memory. If there's something you're having a hard time remembering, a specific formula, make it the last thing you look at before you walk into the classroom. And as soon as you get the test, write it down somewhere on the test before you look at the test or anything. That helps skirt some test anxiety issues, which we'll talk about in another video, and it makes good, powerful use of your short-term memory. You won't always have everything in long-term memory, even though that's what we want. So don't be afraid to use your short-term memory. During the test, it's a good idea to look through the test after you've written anything down out of your short-term memory and begin to get a feel for what it looks like. You might want to make some notes of information that you may need. You might want to figure out how many problems they are, how are they organized, which ones have the most points, which ones have the fewest points. Are there word problems? How many are there? And just kind of create a quick plan for how you're going to take the test. You don't have to take a test in order. It's okay to find an easy problem and start with that. You want to remember to use your time as efficiently as possible. Go for as many points as you can in as short a time as possible. Easy things are good things to go for. Things that are worth a lot of points are good things to go for. But ultimately, you need to make sure that you answer all of the problems. So if you do take your test out of order, before you turn it in, make sure that you go back through it and double check. Did you answer everything? Read all the directions carefully, completely, more than once. It's surprising how often students get questions wrong on math tests because they just didn't read the directions carefully. Again, take the test out of order. Skip hard or lengthy problems at first, but make sure you come back to them. Keep your eye on the clock, but don't panic. Realize that if you're stuck on a problem, spending too much time on it, that you need to move on and try some other things. All right? Don't spend half the test time on one problem when you haven't finished the other problems. Come back to it later, get the other stuff done more quickly. You'd rather have one problem undone on the test than 10. Don't be afraid to use all the time. It's okay if you're the last person in the classroom. It's okay if you're there till the end of the time period that you're allowed. If that's what you need, make use of it. And make sure you attempt everything. Again, don't miss any problems. And if you're not sure how to do something, still try it. Math tests often have partial credit on them, and at least trying something, if it makes some level of sense, will maybe get you a point or two on a problem. If you leave it blank, there's no chance that you'll get any credit. Showing your work is a great idea on math tests because if you get something wrong, it gives the instructor something to look at to see, did you have the right idea, did you make a simple mistake, and award partial credit. You want to try to be as neat as possible and as organized as possible. It's a testing situation, so understand that that's kind of tense, but anything you can do that helps your instructor grade your test is good for you. If you have time left over, review the test. Look for simple mistakes like arithmetic errors, negative signs, double check those types of things. Just be careful that you don't start second guessing yourself on big items unless you're absolutely certain that you've done something wrong. And finally, if the time does become short, do whatever you think will get you the most points. Immediately after you complete a test, think about your anxiety level during the test, how efficiently you think you used your time, the types of problems that gave you more trouble than you expected, and other types of things. Make note of these things so that you can try to improve how you deal with these issues in the next test. And when you get your test back, analyze it. Did you make simple mistakes? Did you read problems correctly or incompletely? Did you leave problems unfinished? Did you just not try some problems and leave them blank? Were there certain types of problems or a section of the test that you struggled with? Did you start strong and finish poorly? Did you rush through parts and that caused you problems? Did you run out of time, maybe because you spent too much time on a specific problem or problems? Did you second guess yourself and turn correct answers into incorrect answers? Analyze all these things with whatever information your instructor supplies, and then try to use that information again to inform what you do before the test to prepare for the next one. This is a learning process, and you can learn from your mistakes in test taking in the same way that you can learn from your mistakes in doing math.